So I'm like, yo quiero Taco Bell. She's like, do it a little bit deeper. All right, whatever. Yo quiero Taco Bell. All right, thank you. Stupid audition, waste of time. Blah, 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 blah. And I get a call and they go, they like it. Let's make a demo. And the direction at the demo is okay, we love what you're doing, but give it to us like this is your neighborhood, this is your barrio, and you know everything, and give it to us like tough and clandestine and like, yo quiero Taco Bell.
All right, Sci-Fi Valley Con. Let's give a big Altoona welcome for Carlos Alazraqui.
Hello, everybody. I think I've seen every one of you at the booth. How's it going?
So far, so good. Everyone seems excited to see you.
I'm excited to see everybody else, too. And we saw each other at the Farpoint convention in Maryland, yeah.
Yep, where your daughter, who is extremely talented as well.
Yeah, Dad Bragg,
also,
Rock Talk on Star Trek Prodigy. And my other, so little Riley Alazraqui.
Yeah, so it's like Rocco and Rock Talk.
Rock Talk and Rocco. One of these days we'll have a dual panel. Like we did at Farpoint, yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. Maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
We'll see.
So if you would like to, you want to chat a bit, you want to answer questions, what do you want to do?
So, and just in talking about my career, I'll just broad strokes so that we can get into questions later. But I was a guy that grew up watching Carol Burnett and Bob Newhart and All in the Family. I was born in the 60s. I didn't really get into the Star Trek stuff until Prodigy, actually, really. But, James T. Kirk, Maurice LaMarche does one of the great James T. Kirks. And... But people will often ask me how I got into voiceover, and I think it's because of the background I have in a blue-collar suburb in a town called Concord, California, 30 miles east of San Francisco. My parents are from Argentina. My dad was British educated in Argentina, so he has no accent. My mom would say, Carlos, you have to study Spanish in school, and no me digas Carlitos. I would hear that, and then I met a guy named Kevin Heaney. And right around the age of 8 or 9, I started to go to Kevin's house every single day. And his parents were from Glasgow. Would you like some waffles, Carlos? And his dad, John, was my soccer coach. You need to get in there, Carlos, and don't get pushed around. You get that guy right back. And Uncle Donnie used to come over, and Auntie Liz was there as well. So I heard all these voices growing up. And I watched Monty Python, and I watched the Two Ronnies, and I watched the Three Stooges, and cartoons, Hey, Bubba Louie. And something was happening, right? I had all these references for voices and sounds, and then in college I started doing mime and then stand-up comedy. And then from stand-up, there was an audition for this thing called ROCKO'S Modern Life. I made a push-play tape recording on a cassette in a kitchen. Wasn't even in a booth.
For those who don't know what a cassette is, it's a small...
Yes. And it was about a kid getting sick in the playground. Like, oh, yeah, Scotty got sick and it was gross. Yeah, and I had to clean it up. I would stay away from that kid. I don't want to get what he's getting. Hey, you couldn't meet his kid. It was really bad. But it got me the audition for Rocko. And I landed Rocko. It's a longer story. And then that just launched me from stand-up, which I continued to do, into the voiceover world. But I would just, because when people will ask, how did you get into voiceover? How can you? Anybody really can, because I'm just a normal California blue-collar kid who was on the swim team and had a paper route and played sports. I was a jock. Loved television and characters. And so I just started to pay attention to what was around me, because sometimes people will say, I don't know how to do voices, and I'm like, I bet you do. If you have a puppy or a cat, you're like, you're my little girl, yeah, you got it. And your cat's like, whatever, dude, and you love the dog more than me. You do it from the inside out because you see something that elicits something out of you, and we all have characters in us. And I don't know where Rocko came from. I tell people he's he's a lot of Winnie the Pooh. I think Joe Murray. Here's a story, right? To figure out where did Rocko come from. It obviously came from the mind, the heart, and soul of Joe Murray.
And this voice happened to encapsulate that.
And after starting the series, Joe told me the story, because Joe Murray used to be a caricature artist at a place called Frontier Village, one of these theme parks. And he used to just draw these people, and he's like, that doesn't look anything like it. Oh, so whatever, I'm trying. And he said, I also had a job when I was a kid selling Christmas trees door to door. This is Joe. And I go, really? How would you carry out? He goes, no, we wouldn't have the trees with us. We would sell the idea of getting a Christmas tree at a lot, and we would just have the paper forms for you to fill out, and then you would come to our lot. And I go, Joe, that is so Rocko.
You know, hello, hi, my name is Rocko, and we're selling Christmas trees. Can I see one? Actually, we don't have the trees with us, but if you sign this form, you can come to the lot and buy them.
And it's like it's a total Rocko thing, so. But I'm very lucky to be a blue-collar kid from the 60s and 70s and be surrounded. I say I get to swim with dolphins. Maurice LaMarche, Kari Wahlgren, Michaela, everybody from Dante Bosco, Janet Varney, and everybody that's here, Rob Paulson and Maurice. I'm swimming with dolphins because these guys are, and I'm learning from them. I learned from Jim Cummings, and Tom Kenny and I were really green. And the first day of Rocko, we're nervous because all the suits are there. And I would say the first season of Rocko, I was Rocko.
I was out of town in my 30s by then, late 20,
let's see, 92, 93, 29 years old? 29 years old.
Yeah, and so all the suits watching me and going, I hope they like what I'm doing.
And it really lent itself to the character. Like,
I'm kind of nervous. Oh, my.
And Tom was doing Heifer, but we were green. We were comics. And the first day we get there and Charlie Adler's sitting in a chair from behind, right? We see his head like this. And we see papers flying. He's like, oh, Ed, Ed, I want to talk to Rocko. Leave me alone, big head. I'll do what I want to do. Don't you talk to me that way. Oh, Tucker. And we just see papers flying and we're like, oh my God, we're not ready for this. But we had to learn fast with Charlie Adler, with the great Billy West, who Riley was just totally enamored with everybody that we met, and then meeting Gray Delisle and Tara Strong and Suzanne Blakesley, who I work with on Apparently Our Parents, and Darren Norris, and all these people. You just learn. You get pulled up because you have to survive. So that's kind of where everything started and where I am and what I get to do, you know. But
do you ever stop learning?
No, you don't. And you never start acquiring new voices and characters because you can pull from life. Because some people are big superhero guys. I love Spider-Man and the Spider-Verse. I really just... Iron Giant, Blade Runner, things like that. But I'm not a comic book kind of guy. I'm more of a jock. Sports. I love ESPN. I love all kinds of sports because I grew up. And recently, there's a cartoon, I think, animated show coming out. It's going to be called either after the game, it will be called Exploding Kittens or God Cat. And there's a character in there named Chorgle, and then I was doing utility voices, and they said, hey, Carlos, we need you to play this animatronic rat that works at a Bayou restaurant. And he's the mascot, and he speaks in kind of a Bayou thing, and I'm like, oh, my God. Does anybody watch SEC football? Southeast college football, and there's a coach. He coached at USC for one season, and he won a championship 2 years ago with LSU. His name is Tom Bergeron, that's somebody else. Ed Orgeron, and you can look him up. Look up Ed Orgeron on YouTube. And every time during halftime, this guy he's from Baton Rouge, and they would talk to him, and we were having a good fourth quarter. Second quarter, we kind of let up a little bit, but I believe in my defense, and I believe in Joe Burrow. We're going to win this game. Go Tigers. I'm like, that has to be Chorgle, the rat. And I did it, and then they're like, that's all. And they're like, that's a made-up voice, right? I go, no, that guy's real. You can look him up.
And so that's where I pulled the reference from. And so now, because they had horse around, I got myself a character. And I like it. All right, go Tigers.
So, yeah.
What you went to one audition that was 4 words, and you're not happy about it.
Yeah, gosh, late 90s, 1997, and driving from Burbank, California to West LA, Pico and Bundy on a Friday at 4 o'clock. You're like, this audition's going to take 3 hours. It's 4 words on a piece of paper. Come on, I'm wasting my time. This is stupid. And a wonderful casting director, Terry Berland, is there. It's for a Chihuahua, so I get there and I go, what is it? And I'm like, okay, yo quiero Taco Bell. She goes, no, no, no. We're not doing Speedy Gonzalez. I've been hearing this all day for the past 3 days. I don't want your typical thing. Just do your own voice. Do my own voice. Stupid direction. Do my own voice. Smarty pants. So I'm like, yo quiero Taco Bell. She's like, do it a little bit deeper. All right, whatever. Yo quiero Taco Bell. All right, thank you. Stupid audition, waste of time. And I get a call and they go, they like it. Let's make a demo. And the direction at the demo is okay, we love what you're doing, but make sure, give it to us like this is your neighborhood, this is your barrio, and you know everything, and give it to us like tough and clandestine, and like, yo quiero Taco Bell. And they're like, great, love it, gonna make a demo. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we made a demo. And then they said, we like it, it's gonna be a commercial. Great. We really like it. And then next commercial, merchandise. And it blew up. 4 words on a piece of paper, and I just thought it was a waste of time. And voiceover acting, like any endeavor we do, most of the things we audition for, we don't get. There's probably a stack this high of auditions. If I stacked them all up, of maybe this that I've gotten 7 voices from. And it's volume. You just keep going, and you never know. And that's why you never stop learning. Like, how can I acquire that next Chorgle type of character? And for me as a kid, I could access the Glasgow accent. So I played, Huts Galore. What was his name from Dragon's Rescue Riders? I played that character. I played Monroe from Juniper Lee, who is basically a bad Billy Connolly, the comedian. Juniper Lee, I'm not going to get involved with this one. So that I could access that from learning the Scottish dialect. There, for the great inimitable Jorge Gutierrez and Sandra Iquiwa, El Tigre, Book of Life, Maya and the Three. I've done a voice of Grandpapi, Manny Rivera. And then General Posada was a deeper version of that. Maria, what have you done? You pick yourself a feisty one. And then Chacol, I am Chacol. All in that same, and all referenced from my next door neighbor, Raquel. Carlos had a grandma who smoked like crazy. And Shelly and Dana were her granddaughters. And they used to come over our house and play, and she would come out the front and go, Shelly and Dana, you have to come home at once. And there it was, pulled it from my childhood, So all around us. And the Latino stuff let me be able to pronounce yo quiero correctly, and that's a gift in the door,
So you steal people's voices all the time.
I steal. Mr. Crocker, famously, and I've said this on many interviews, is Richard Dreyfuss. There is a huge shark out there, and you can't let people in the water. And Sedative, oh my God, you are not evil, you are good. Gene Wilder. And people go, there's a lot of Montgomery Burns in there. I'm like, yeah, on purpose. Harry Shearer, if you're going to steal from the best. Right? Burns is, revenge is a dish best served cold, Smithers. Then if you did it with Crocker, you would speed it up. Revenge is a dish best served cold, Smithers. It has that quality. And then it's, wait a minute, Timmy Turner, I know what it is. There it is! Very good, Burns! That's the Gene Wilder and Dreyfuss part. And then mix them all together. I've stolen 3 voices and made my own. So...
That is awesome. Does anyone have questions? Please raise your... Ooh, we got questions here, there. 1, 2. Because I could talk to you all day, but...
I have 2 questions. 1, did you ever meet Gidget the dog?
Gidget?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you are my hero.
She was very aloof. I'm like, hi, Gidget. She's like...
And 2... did they purposely put in the jokes with Mucker's Rotten Life?
Oh yeah, like there's for you kids there. Mom's gonna explain it later, but Rocco shows up, opens the door. He's got a ping pong paddle in one hand and a monkey on a spindle.
We were just playing a game.
Which
Spank the monkey.
explain it to your kids later. Oh yeah, and then
Hello, be naughty, be courteous. Hello, my name is, oh baby, Rocco, is that you? Mrs. Bighead.
then they go to stay at a hotel. You want the room for all night? You don't want it for just an hour? You know, we, at the end of season 2, the standards and practices wanted to get a hold of things. We could no longer say with peaches from, it was HE double hockey sticks. We had to do that. We had to switch that. And then as a joke, it was supposed to be chewy chicken. And that was already taken. Legally, we couldn't do it. So on a whim, they're like, there's no way this is going to get past standards. Let's call it choky chicken. Hey, Rock, let's go to choky chicken.
Okay, Hep.
And we were surprised that it made it into the show. So yeah, all of those references were
Stare into my nipples of the future. Really, really big man.
those were all purposely put in there for our benefit.
Hello.
Hello.
Some of my favorite episodes of Rocco and CatDog were the musical episodes.
Oh yes.
Do you have any memories or anecdotes of those?
Well, I have memories that Rocco misses the musical, right? Because he misses rehearsals. But it's RECYCLE, recycle, CONSERV, conserve, don't you POLUULTE, the river, skies, or lakes, or sea, because if you do, you'll get what you deserve. Spring cleaning. I remember Swampy and Povenmire had written a hit song. And you said the other one was CatDog. I don't remember much of the musicals, probably because I wasn't asked to sing as much back then. But everybody remembers the Recycle song and Spring Cleaning. And that is a great song written by Swampy Marsh, Jeff Swampy Marsh, and Dan Povenmire.
But Rocco's like, what a night again.
He's like, you missed rehearsals, Rock. So, and then I'm famously not in Laszlo's theme, Lazlo. I'm not in the theme song at all.
Wait a minute, I'm Laszlo. How come I'm not in the song?
I'm learning how to sing, though, so maybe I'll be more involved. But yes, I do remember that being a thing, but me not being a part of that thing. Yeah.
All right, over here. I get to sit down. Nice.
Yeah.
Two things. I really like when Rocco says spunky. Could you do that for me? And then also, what is your favorite Reno 911 sketch?
Oh,
Spunky!
Favorite Reno 911 sketch. You know, Kenny Rogers was pretty freaking fun to be hanging out in a cop car with Kenny Rogers. But I think I like when Cedric Yarborough and I, Jones and Garcia, go up on a roof to try to stop these kids from jumping their BMX bikes from one roof to the next roof. And of course, all the dialogue was improvised. And this kid brilliantly says, because we love The Sopranos. So, what are you kids doing up here? We're trying to jump our bikes. Well, hold on. And we go check out the distance and we both go, oh! Total Sopranos. Oh! No way, man. You're not going to do this. And the kid goes, oh, you bet I can't do it? And then okay, Kenny Rogers. Okay, you bet we can't do it? All right, how much money you got, Jones? You got 3? I got 5. We got 8 Washoe County dollars that says that you cannot jump this bike from this roof to this roof. I'll take that bet. Go. Just nope, right over. And we're like, oh, shoot, go. That was one of my favorites. The one where there's Klansmen out on the front lawn, and they know Garcia. Hey, Jimmy Jam, how's it going? Hey, Jerry, what's going on? I'm with Cedric, my black partner, and it's just like they light themselves on fire. And he's like, yeah, that's right. Crazy stuff. Good cop, black cop. It's another bad one. Good cop, black. It's not good cop, black cop. It's good cop, bad cop. Black cop, bad cop, same thing. No, it's not the same thing. How about I beat your little punk booty cop?
Speaking of that a little
Yeah.
bit, all the ones you did with Jackie.
Oh, yeah.
And every single time that you crack up so bad that you have to put your face into
In the face, chew
your
gum,
elbow,
cough.
and it's like, and just
In the restaurant.
yes, that was
Help! Help! She yells a word that's an adult word, but it rhymes with grape. Grape! Grape! No, I'm not doing that. Jackie, cut it out. Yeah, I would always crack up with it. When TT would grab my stick. There's an episode in Reno 911 where TT doesn't win the lottery. I'm sorry, TT. This is from Nevada. She's like, you could see me running off, and Wendy's like, you just go, Garcia. Don't ruin the scene. I was always blowing the scene. Oh. It was Harvey Korman and Tim Conway. Or Ricky Gervais talking about what he calls corpsing, like where you just can't hold it. I used to have to stare at Cedric's forehead because he just had those eyes where he'd look at me like, I hate you. And yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
So since you were the original voice of Spyro the Dragon,
Yes.
Was there any call that you had when the Reignited trilogy was being created?
No, and when I heard it was coming out, I thought maybe they'll return to the original when they digitized it and made the latest one. But they did go with Tom Kenny again, and that's obviously understandable because Tom's reputation and his ability is fantastic. But I didn't get a call to come back again. And it would have been great to kind of return to the OG, you know. Watch out for Nasty Nork. He's toast. Because that's a voice guy that was near and dear to me, and people really revere that first original one. But I think you had Elijah Wood, Jess Harnell, Tom Kenny, myself. So it's a pretty good franchise to at least be the start of, but I never did get that call.
All right. All right. While I'm going over there, because we're going to go 1, 2. So which character voice is the most hard on your throat that you have to be like, we can only do this an hour or two?
Surprisingly, Ed Orgeron not that bad because it's so low. You can place it down low and save your throat.
But obviously Crocker, screaming Fairly Odd Parents. And there were episodes where it was him and his mother, right? Oh, Denzel, there's a rocket in the kitchen. Well, why don't you jump on it, you old bet? Don't talk to your mother that way. Shut up. With his girlfriend. Ow. Those would chew my throat up for sure. The Crocker sessions. I'm doing one recently, too, for a new Dora that it's a lot of... It's like, oh, I'm not D. Bradley Baker. Why are you treating me this way? Yeah.
I actually have 2 questions. Mm-hmm. The first is, if Rocco had to pick one friend, would he pick Heifer or Filbert? Oh. And then the second question is, since you worked with Tom Kenny a lot, what's your favorite memory of working with Tom Kenny?
Oh, golly. Oh, okay. I do have a memory with Tom Kenny. So,
God, who would I choose, Heifer or Filbert?
My gut just says,
I would, you know what?
and this would be very regal of,
I love you both, Heifer and Filbert. But Filbert, since I know that you've worked at O Comics, and I've actually been your boss, I think, and Heifer doesn't have a job, I think you can handle yourself in the real world. So I'm going to choose Heifer, because I know you'll be okay.
So I think I would choose Heifer, or Rocco would choose Heifer. And Tom Kenny and I were doing some of the original, what do you call it when you have the dots on your head? That type of...
Motion capture?
Mocap. We were doing it for Sony in the 90s, and it was really primitive, and he had this tight helmet on, and it was for Crash Bandicoot. But it was put out by Sony, and all the Sony executives were watching us rehearse, and it was really bad and choppy. And like, I'm Crash Bandicoot, and we made up this voice, and Tom is there, and all these executives are like, look it, I have gas, and I would make him fart, and Tom is cracking up. And the guys are, what are you doing? The executives are here. Oh, that's a good one. Pew! And Tom and I were just kids in church, just busting up, so...
All right, over here. Yep.
Hi, Benjamin.
So, do you remember doing a...
You got it.
Do you remember doing a voice on Saul of the Mole Men?
Yes. He was the Birdman, right? What was his name? Look at him. He was like, I will have my vengeance. Why have you forsaken me, Sal? Yeah, he was something Birdman. You're right. I forget his name, though. That was the voice, though. That also hurts my throat. I will get you, Solo the Mole Man.
So when you hurt your throat, what do you do?
When I was a comic, it was a lot of Grand Marnier and lemon and honey. You rest it. Sometimes if it's really shot, you get a B12 shot. Go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor. It is just rest and a lot of hot, warm liquid, even just hot water and lemon. But I love the lemon and the honey and a chamomile or a throat coat tea and rest. That's about all you can do. And just say, hey, if we have to do a scream, can we save all the screaming for the end of the session? But fortunately, sometimes like with Dora, this new Dora thing, I'll wear my voice out. So I'll say, can we book this near the end of the week so that I have the weekend to recover? So you just try to plan your rest.
Makes sense. More questions. All right, here and then there.
How did you feel that they killed off Mr. Weed and Family Guy?
Oh yeah, that was hard. I didn't know. I came in for the session. I'm like, wait a minute, does he die? And like Cecily said, yeah, he's dead. And so that was sad because it was a show that was just building a momentum on TBS, and I thought, oh great, I'm going to be a really integral part of this show going forward, and that wasn't the case. So it was hard. But hey, for one season, I got to be Mr. Weed. Peter, you're fired. I should call you Eduardo. Yeah. Yes.
What was your favorite episode of Rocko's Modern Life?
That's always a good one. Since I don't remember a ton of them, Wacky Deli is right up there. I'm Betty Bologna. I am the cheese. I am the most important part. But I love the Christmas episode because you can't squeeze cheer from a cheese log, right? I think. Because Rocko's so sweet. They have a little elf that's just kind of lost. He's like, hello, little elf friend. We're your new neighbors. Do you want to be our friend? It's because Rocko's so sweet in it. So those two episodes. But there's so many crazy ones. Jet Scream and Cabin Fever, where Rocko's chasing Melba, the poodle, through France. But yeah, I would say the Christmas episode. Yeah.
Very cool. Who's next? Next victim? Don't all speak at once. Oh, awesome.
We've
right up
question
here.
over here.
Do you remember a show that you were on in 1998? I think it was on the Fox Family Channel. It was sort of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think it was called
do.
Random Acts of Comedy.
Random Acts of Comedy with Jim Wise, Patrick Bristow, my friend Karen Maruyama, and a couple of others. And David Alan Grier hosted it. It's the Monkey Wrench Round. And it was we would do an improv game where it was the A, B, and C in a scene. And so I remember one of the sketches was the contestants had, see if you can guess it. See if you can guess the A. So the A would be like, can't believe we're here. I hope we're in foul territory. Could be I don't want to get hit by a Sun Yi. I don't get hit by a foul ball. Does anybody know who that is? Okay, so where am I? At a baseball game, and then here's what happens. I can't believe this. This always happens. I'm not going to be able to enjoy the game with just one eye. It's on the floor here. Don't step, Sun Yi. I got to find this. What's happening? Lost the contact lens, and so that's how you would play the game. It was the who, what, and where. Yeah, Random Acts of Comedy with David Alan Grier. It's the Monkey Wrench Round. Yeah.
Speaking of Random Acts of Comedy, have you ever been in public and decided to break into a character voice to kind of amuse someone or freak someone out? You see them with a Rocko T-shirt or something?
I was tempted. There were so many times I'd be in a Taco Bell during the day, and they had all the stuffed animals up there, and they're like, I'm going to take the, what is the logarithm one, and the Viva Gorditas one, and I was so, and one time I'm in my Cadillac convertible, my friend Dan convinced me to do the Taco Bell Chihuahua voice in the speaker in the drive-thru. And I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I'm like, hola, hi, I would like a gordita and then $4.99 at the window. And I get there, and then my friend's like, he's the guy. He's the Taco Bell. Yeah, whatever, $4.99. Like, But no, I did a Scottish voice. We were in near Inverness at the Dalwhinnie Distillery, and there was this guy Derek Moore who had given my wife a tattoo, and he says, "We do you do it pretty well, but you can go up to the bar and order an accent," and it lasted for about 30 seconds. But no, this is true. Colin Hay from Men at Work, I Can't Get to Sleep. We had seen him a couple of times. Met him in Aspen and went to see him live, and I said, "Colin, hey, remember Carlos?" I said, "My best friend's parents were from Glasgow, Scotland," and then we talked about it, and he's going, "When did you leave?" And I went, "What?" He goes, "When did you leave Glasgow?" And I said, No, I'm not from Glasgow." But I was like, holy crud. Colin Hay from Glasgow actually thought I was from Glasgow, so that was like unintentional usage of a character. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right, we have another question over here.
But
Okay.
you mentioned sports people. Can you do any commentators like Dick Vitale?
Dick Vitale, yeah. Dick Vitale is really high up here. I'm coming off the game. It's going to be great. I love basketball. Basketball is the #1 sport. Yeah, for the three, yes! Holy moly! Yeah, the great Howard Cosell used to do. He's a great running back out of Illinois, Billy White Shoes Johnson. Look at him go. Yeah, all the old guys. I can't believe what I just saw, Joe Buck. And Mel Allen, Twib Notes, if you guys are classic baseball, there was a guy named Mel Allen, This Week in Baseball. So I used to watch him on Twib Notes. So I don't know if some of the current guys. Stephen A. Smith, let me tell you about Aaron Rodgers, because this man is the best quarterback in the NFL. I said it. Aaron Rodgers. Hey, come on, settle down. It's me, Charles Barkley. Get yourself a Subway.
Awesome. Speaking of impressions, do you do a Christopher Walken?
I did him on Stephanie Miller way back when they had that Prophecy, the movie, and it was what was the sketch was? There's a little boy coming to sit on Santa Claus. What do you want for Christmas, Billy? You want a bike? Oh, I want a bike. How about puppies? You know, what was it? You're crying, Timmy. You're crying. Why? What do I get? You're crying all the time. I want this. Boo-hoo. And your crying has made the puppies sneak under the papers, and they're dead, Timmy. Your crying led the puppies to their death. You did that, Timmy. And it is a really dark, bad sketch. But here's what I learned to do, because Jim Meskimen, Ross Marquand, Frank Caliendo, this new guy that does Howard Stern and does a great job. He's a dog. The guy's a dog. China the dog. He's fantastic. And so the one that I had to really learn to do correctly was Billy Crystal as Mike Wazowski, because I've been doing all the sound-alike stuff since 2001. So if you've been to the Monster Scare floor or Laugh floor right at Florida, hey, everybody, text your jokes. You're almost there. 5 more minutes in line. That's me, and I did a lot of toys, but I had to learn that. I had to watch Forget About Paris on a VHS hundreds of times, and then after 100 hours, it was like being able to get all the nuances of being really high. One eye, Sully. I can't believe it. We get to go to the party, Sully. It's going to be great. Hey, Raj, you know you're looking good today. Can I tell you something? You're fantastic. You know, so learning all the ins and outs of that was one impression that I have to get exactly right. So, but yeah, I mean, I started out with Bill Clinton and all those kinds of things way back when. Yeah, I did not have a hot dog with that woman. I have to keep it clean for the kids. And, you know, De Niro, okay, and I hate things. There is a great interview, Kevin Pollak interviewing the actor Titus Welliver from Bosch. And he's talking to Al Pacino, but Titus Welliver starts with a young Pacino and goes all the way. And I'm talking to Mr. Pacino from Panic in the Park. How are you doing, Al? Thank you very much, Kevin. I'm doing great. I've been doing, I met Mr. Coppola, and he asked me to do the Godfather, and I'm really happy to be a part of this show with Bobby De Niro. And it's fantastic. It shows you what an actor can put into an impression all the way to, how you like that? Oh, yeah, okay, all right, how you doing? Yeah, it's I enjoy watching young impressionists and really good ones. And again, the one I've been able to nail is Billy Crystal because I had to study it. But my walking is okay. It's all right.
It was good, but it would take a miracle.
It would take a miracle. That's it. There you go.
That's perfect. All right.
Have fun storming the castle.
More questions. All right, over here.
Hi.
Hi.
What character or show would you like to revisit, like one of these modern reboots that they have going on for everything from my childhood?
Obviously, when we did Static Cling in 2016 is when we recorded it. I'd love to revisit that. And Laszlo, because Joe Murray's work is so wonderful.
And Laszlo's so sweet.
He's the younger, more innocent brother of Rocco, for sure. And, you got Jeff Bennett or Laszlo. We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah, trouble. Lots of fun. Trouble.
I'd love to revisit Laszlo. Anytime I got to do the live-action version of Mr. Crocker on Fairly Odder, and if we could do more Fairly Odd Parents, that would be wonderful. To come back and do Mr. Weed be resurrected, that would be amazing. And if we get to do more Reno 911s, the last thing we did was It's a Wonderful Heist. But definitely, if we could bring back Rocco in a series form, I think we would crush it and nail it, especially with what's going on in the world. Because Rocco is such a Winnie the Pooh, I think he's a character that would want to bring everybody together.
You know, I know you're wearing a red hat and you're wearing a blue hat, but if we put them together, we can all wear purple hats, like the triangles on my shirt.
You know, I think Rocco would be prime again to be run as a series for sure.
So of the characters that you've played, who would you say is a really good role model, and who would you say no?
Winslow is not a good role model.
Hey, CatDog! Too bad you don't get to have fun today.
Not a good role model. Crocker, none in the face. Timmy Turner, mother, I need a girlfriend. I'm lonely. Not a good role model. Laszlo and Rocco are good role models because they let it roll off their sleeve, you know?
You know, sometimes life gives you lemons, and then you have to squeeze those lemons into a cup, add sugar, make some lemonade, and maybe a lemon pie.
Rocco's hopes and Laszlo are, you know,
hi, Bean Scouts. Hi, Scoutmaster Lumpus.
Their hope springs eternal. So those are good characters to live by. Just always hopeful, always moving forward. And, yeah. Good role models. Garcia, no. Absolutely not. Garcia's a pathetic human being, so I wouldn't recommend him. And who else? Have I?
Maybe Chorgle the Rat. Because Chorgle's always happy. I'll tell you that. There's nothing wrong with being happy.
Awesome. All right, awesome. Over here. Making me walk, getting my steps in.
On the topic of Rocco being a good role model, with the episode when he became Mr. Boss for a bit.
Oh, yeah.
How was that? Just kind of having to channel all of that negative
rage.
energy into such a pure character.
Philbot! Get up here, Philbot!
It sounded foreign. Like, Rocco's not supposed to get that mad. But it's fun. And then, of course, after doing Crocker and Winslow, it's like, oh, yes, it's fun. But it felt odd. It felt odd for him to get that upset because he's such a chill guy.
But if you don't run this credit card or if you don't charge me this, I will do something not very nice.
It's kind of reflective of my own kind of rage sometimes. So they're not proud moments, but, yeah, it feels odd for Rocco to be in a rage state. I'd like to think he's always the cool customer, but no.
So it's cathartic a little bit?
Oh, it is cathartic, yeah.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, good to see you.
Can we get a little spunky around here?
Spunky, leave that mop alone.
You're welcome. Who's basically close to Puff on Proud Family? Puff is a little bit more full of herself because Sugar Mama keeps Puff around.
I also really enjoyed Ricochet from.
Yeah.
That was such a great show. I was wondering if that was something you'd want to revisit at some point.
Oh, you're right. Eddie Mort and Lily Chin, and we tried to. Eddie Mort wrote this thing where it was 10 years later, and it was Kathy, Cindy, Candy Milo, and Kimberly Brooks and I. And I loved it. Pulverizing pinball, family, honor, tradition, donuts, the whole lucharan. I loved Ricochet. I love his positivity and his can-do attitude. And it was such a fun show. And in the spirit of now what we did with El Tigre, right, with the luchador characters. I play the luchador on Hamster and Gretel, too. I don't know if those episodes are out there, but I play El Luchador. But I would love to bring Ricochet back. People really loved that show. It was short-lived on Warner Brothers. The Flea! That was Candy Milo. She's brilliant. Yeah, that's a good one. Ricochet.
Any other questions, or am I going to start taking over? You don't want me to take over, do you? All right, see? Someone who's smart over here.
Are there any characters you regret doing?
Oh, regret. No, I don't think so. Because if they come from the mind of somebody else, then they want you to bring that to life. I don't think so. I can't think of any. Maybe for the sake of maybe a video game where it chewed my throat out, there's physical regret, but never any. No, because the art is the art. And even if they want you to play a bad guy. I remember How to Win Friends and Make Them Disappear. It's a podcast. It's about a vampire that comes back, and I play her ex-husband, and then she's taking this young girl under her wing, and she's trying not to seduce the young girl and eat her, and she's promised not to eat me because she's in love with me, but then I had to do a scene where I had to have a kissing scene. I'm like, and I had to turn the video off because I'm kissing my own hand, and that was weird. I don't regret it, but it was just strange that I had to make out with my own hand in order to get the sound right. But no, I don't think there's anything I regret. Like, no, there might have been some politically incorrect characters on Reno that nowadays wouldn't fly. You know, I played a Native American guy named Chief Carl, and looking back on it, it's like probably wouldn't fly, wouldn't be the right political climate, but it was okay for then. So, nah, we did what we do. Yeah, it's art. It's art. And I don't think any of it was ever really offensive or off-putting, you know.
All right, who's next?
Who's next?
This side has been very quiet. All right.
Hi, Carrie.
No, we're recording this, so we need your voice
We
on mic.
need your voice.
Is there any one role that you've gone out for that you didn't get that you were like, dang, I wish?
Yeah, SpongeBob, Squidward, Patrick. I auditioned for all of those and didn't get. And of course, the right people are there. There's no question. I can't imagine me or anybody else doing those voices, right? But I got a shot at that. Lots of television roles for sure. Voiceover-wise, you know, I would have loved to have been part of the Animaniacs back then, but I don't know if that's something I even auditioned for. But the ones I can remember are those three from SpongeBob, because Hillenburg knew me, and I thought there's a shot at being one of the top four, right? And I think Plankton came later, and that was always going to be Mr. Lawrence, because that's from Doug's mind and heart. But those three, yeah, it would have been. But now Tom is my director on Kamp Koral. And if any of the Kamp Koral is great for kids. It's a great introduction to SpongeBob world. And I play Nobby, whose sister's Narlene, played by the wonderful Kate Higgins. And she's like, "We gonna make some sugar squeeze and give it to the camp. How about that, Nobby?" And Nobby speaks almost like Boomhanger, and he doesn't say words like, "We gotta have sugar squeeze. I love it." And then I play this guy, Harvey. He's always talking about aliens. Guys, we're being invaded by aliens. So it's fun to come around and then be part of the SpongeBob family again. And like, "SpongeBob, you ripped your pants. Oh, hi, Todd. What's up?" So yeah, I do wish that I could have had a shot at being part of the core 4 or 5 of SpongeBob, but that's okay. Good question.
I think you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
So, years ago when you started doing voice work, a lot of it was in studio. How much of it now is in studio as opposed to in a closet in your house that you've made into a studio?
I have to share. Pretty soon I'm going to share the infested rat videos of my voiceover booth. It's harrowing. It's coming out on Instagram soon. You will get to see it if you join my Instagram. It's gross. 3 weeks I'm breathing dead rat smell, and we pulled back the panel and like, blah. So it's currently airing out now. But so I would say 10% to 15% is out at LA Studios. I just did an Archer recently. I just did Star Trek Lower Decks Montez. No, I'm sorry, Rick and Morty Montez. Montez, very intense. So every once in a while, I would say 10 to 15% out of studio. 80. That would leave 85% in studio in my booth. There's a new. Well, we could talk about at the end. Rock Paper Scissors with Tom Lennon and Ron Funches coming out on Nickelodeon and Paramount. Hopefully this summer. That was all done in my booth. None of it at Nickelodeon, and even all the Kamp Koral's in my booth. Yeah, Jorgo, getting all in my booth.
I mean, aside from the smell, at least the commute's pretty quick.
It's great. Just head right to the garage.
All right, we got 1, 2, 3.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just curious. Did the COVID-19 pandemic change the way you work or affected the way you approach voice acting and voiceovering?
It did change our approach, and it did at first curtail. Pardon me.
Hey, Homer. I don't know. They're pretty selective.
That's what I do when I accidentally burp. Just surround it with a Barney. Yes, it did. It changed the way we had to work because once in a while you were modularized by yourself with a director. Like all the Bane stuff I did for Justice League Doom, that was by myself.
But when we fought before, I broke the bat. Today I break the man.
That was all by myself. And yeah, we were used to ensemble. Like the Fairly Odd, we would meet. With this show, we would all be in the same room, and it was wonderful. There was an energy. The Casa Grandes, we started out, I would see Roxana Ortega and Ruben Garfias and Alex Cáceres and Isabel and everybody else. The whole cast would be together. It was so much fun. And then COVID said no. And then it was on Zoom. And every once in a while, it would be an ensemble record. So we had to shift to bring all that. The energy you got from a group record, you had to provide it by yourself. And so, yeah, you had to be a little bit more on. I just worked with Lisa Schaefer on some the Loud House movie. And you miss being with that group. There's a totally different energy that carries you through because you're just swimming with these guys, and now it's all you in a confined area. And yeah, changed everything.
Speaking of different groups and things like that, you have some more adult cartoons and also adult shows like Reno 911,
yeah.
But also being a part of kids shows like Handy Manny, Wow Wow Wubsy,
yeah.
Things like that. Having those kind of groups, do you still find that same comedic energy with even the kids groups as you do the older groups sometimes, or is it a completely different feel?
I think it's different. You can play more in the conceit of adult cartoons for sure, but when we're off microphone is when we do all the kidding around. Like, we used to do Wow Wow Wubsy, and everything is lesson based, right? I want to play Kickity Big Cake Ball.
Well, maybe we should include him in our game. All right, we'll include him in our game. Hey, would you like to play? And
off screen, we're like, yay, you son of you stupid. We're playing it off microphone. And so, no, there is a different energy, because those shows are, I'm Dora. Can you help me say La Cartera, the purse? Everything has to be slowed down. And yeah, you apply a different energy.
I'm Felipe. I'm a Phillips head screwdriver. I can help you, Manny.
Let's go, Tools. You do a lot of this when you do the kids' cartoons. Yeah. But I love it because my kids were young, and now I know who I'm doing it for when I do those shows. Like, my kids used to watch this, so I'm fully invested in the kids' shows.
Hello.
Hello.
Question, you might have kind of answered this with one of the previous questions, but since you're working at home in a booth, are you on the phone with the director? Is it a Zoom call? Like how are you getting direction and feedback and all that?
It'll be a Zoom and either what they call IpDiddle or a Source Connect or a backup record on a QuickTime for me. So you're working off Zoom. You turn the audio off on Zoom once you're connected to Source Connect or IpDiddle so it doesn't echo. And then you have your backup going at the same time, and then you just send the whole file in at the end just in case they miss something. You have the backup. So yeah, we're working off Zoom. And oftentimes I'll have the script up and won't see I'll see Tom Kenny every week, and I know Tom, so I don't need to look at him, and I know his voice. So I'll have the script there, and I can just hear Tom's voice. Hey, Carlos, okay, we're going to do this, all right. And that's how we work. But I miss seeing, I got to come in recently with Bill Fagerbacke and those guys. It's just so different.
Hey, Carlos, good to see you, brother. How's it going, man?
It's nice to run into those guys in person.
All right. Here we are over here.
Hello.
Hello.
So I am the mom of a huge dreamer. I have one that wants to do something in life that is a little frightening for me. I'm not sure how, showbiz and that thing will, happen for him, but I want to be there to definitely drive him towards that. Do you have any advice as a parent with your daughter going into showbiz, and do you feel like you were reserved about her doing that, or were you all the way for her?
Well, I think you might be referring to Benjamin, and it looks like Benjamin enjoys and loves what he does. So that's going to take care of a lot of things, especially when it comes to getting some rejection and having to rework things. With Riley, oftentimes, and even with Austin, my youngest does voiceovers as well and auditions for things. She did anybody see The Shrink Next Door? That series on Apple TV with Will Ferrell and Paul Rudd. Austin played the grandniece of Will Ferrell and had a scene with him. But with Riley, she gets upset that I do all these auditions and I never get called and I'm doing such a great job that she'll go, I hate acting. And we'll go, I don't think you hate it. I think you hate being rejected, and that's natural. Nobody likes to be rejected or not chosen, let's say. So the advice is that if you love it, it's worth everything that you put into it. It's worth waiting for, and then you do it for the art of it. You do it to just put it out. I've done so many things on spec. I have a movie. You can either pay $3.99 on Amazon to give me a little bit of money, because I'll never recoup the money, or you can watch it free on Tubi. It's with Maurice LaMarche, Gary Anthony Williams, Tara Strong, and those are the voice actors that are in it. It's called Witness Infection. It's two mob families on witness protection, poison sausage, they turn into zombies. It's really fun. You can watch it. But that's something I'm not going to get my money back on that. I put all my heart, I wrote it with a friend, Joe Michelle Melian. We got everything down. We wrote it. We filmed it. We put all this work into it. And is it a commercial success? No. But I love that I did it. I've made this movie, and I made this movie, and I've done this project. I auditioned for this role. I didn't get this role. But everything, I love it so much that it's worth it. So the advice is, if you love it, just stick with it. Because there'll be the reward of saying, you know what? I did it. I put it out there. And that's your reward, is sharing yourself. And if you're lucky, it's a commercial success. Swampy Marsh and Povenmire will tell you they pitched Phineas and Ferb for 15 years. They were writing it during the Rocko days. And it was falling on deaf ears. And they just kept going at it and going at it and going at it. 15 years later, they got it, So just do it for the love of sharing your art, Because stand-up to me was a means to an end. I thought stand-up would make me famous. Somebody will see me and give me a sitcom. And I can do stand-up. I'm pretty good at it. But I don't love it the way I love voiceover acting or putting videos together or small projects together or short films together. I love that stuff. I love creating more now than the commercial success of it. But it's nice. It's nice to get a job. But that's the advice. If you love it, stick with it. Do it for the art. And you just might land something. Because if you go with it with that passion, you're going to share yourself. And that's the advice, if that makes sense.
All right, we're way over here.
Hi.
Okay, old guy in the room. You opened a can of worms, so I'm going to go there. You said about Reno 911, and about the time frame and about what you couldn't do now.
Yeah.
Mel Brooks has commented that his movies would never be made, and he would more than likely be shot. On TV, different channels go with different options.
Yes.
Some of them show the warning up front that this is culturally back.
Yeah.
And then they show the movie as the movie was. And then other ones take a 2-hour and 15-minute movie and turn it into an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, almost like being on the old airlines, right? When they edit for content, yeah.
So, looking at it from the art, where are you? Are you in the perspective of, let's put the warning up there and let's show them what the person created? Or are you, let's go ahead and get rid of everything and let's leave the other 15 minutes?
I think show it in its original form, and because it's there for you to see, and if you want to see it, see it. It's weird what we're going through, right? With all these things happening, it's like things are out in the world. It's not jumping on you and attacking you. It's sitting on a shelf or sitting on a television. It's there for you to either enjoy or not enjoy. If it's your thing, go for it. If it took you by surprise and you might have been taken aback, that's a reaction you had. It was never the intent of the material to do these things. So I'm like, leave it up. And if it's for you, it's for you. And if it's not, it's not. But if you want to throw a warning on there, just in case nobody has run across, I'm okay with that. Hey, this movie it has these materials, and then somebody might go, oh, not what I expected. I don't want to watch this. But I'm for leaving things in their original content, especially if it's for the sake of art. There's so many paintings. Somebody could say there's a Goya painting of a god biting a person in half, very graphic, and that could be considered like, hey, what is this doing in a museum? It's like, but that's what that was his vision. That's what he painted. So I'm for all leaving it up. Yeah.
All right. Another question here.
How does it feel seeing and hearing from multi-generational groups constantly, especially coming to cons like this, seeing how it's affected not only older generations, but now with your children, younger generations? Because I'm sure your kids have friends that also recognize you from their childhood.
Yeah, I was in Oxnard, California, hanging out. I'm in an arcade with my kids, and I live in LA. There's A-listers and celebrities walking in Runyon Canyon, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, excuse me. And I'm like, are you Mr. Crocker? I'm like, yeah. I'm sorry to bother you. You're like, no, bother me. Because I don't get recognized in LA, baby. And for you to recognize myself as a voice actor means you're really a fan. Because you're not recognizing me from Reno from a visual reference. It's from the work. That means you really follow what we do. And Rob Poston will tell you, and Rob's one of the nicest guys on the planet, along with Billy West. And Maurice and I will tell you that all of us here are so flattered that you have it's almost like an airline. You have a choice when you fly, and thank you for flying Voice Over Airlines. We're so flattered that you like what we do. And I've told this story thousands of times because I did the original Spyro the Dragon, right? We talked about it, right?
The OG, all right? Well, watch out for Nasty Nork.
And I just thought, it's a kind of a weird little voice that anybody can do. I don't see what's so special about it. But people will say, it's my childhood. I spent my time with it, and I taught my kids the game. And I didn't understand it. And I told the story in many interviews. One day I'm at Salami Studios in Los Angeles, in North Hollywood. I'm talking to D. Bradley Baker and Fred Tatasciore. They're uber talented. But they're my friends, so who cares? They're my friends. I don't care. We're both voiceover actors. I said, I stink at video games. I only know how to play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2. And suddenly D goes, I'm the Joker, the one that jumps on your head and goes, and I'm the spitter. And I'm like, oh, what? And Fred goes, yeah, I'm Boomer. I throw up on you. Like, oh my God, no way. And I totally fanboyed out. Because I spent hundreds of hours losing at that game. And it never occurred to me that they were voiced by people, and let alone my friends, and that it hit me. I get it now. I get why people think that what we do is great, because I felt it. My God, there's no way that's you, D. There's no way that's you, Fred. That can't be you. We're all super appreciative that you recognize what we do, because I remember Tom talking about Mike Tyson coming out.
Hey man, I really love this SpongeBob. My kids.
This is a story. I met Robin. I work with Robin Williams in stand-up and both Happy Feets. He and George Miller and Elijah Wood, salt of the earth. No pretense, no nothing. Beautiful human beings, right? But I remember in San Francisco, I'm doing stand-up, and Robin's still hanging around. Early 90s. I'm at Cobb's Comedy Club watching a comedian named Brian Regan, or Dana Gould, actually. And I'm in the hallway just sitting there, and I hear this voice behind me. It goes, "You're the voice of Rocko. You know, my daughter Zelda loves Rocko." Oh, shit. It's Robin Williams. Hi. And he knew me as Rocko. So talk about this international star knows what you do. Voiceover it cuts right through. So a Mike Tyson or a LeBron James, our Eric Bowles is phenomenal. LeBron James telling him, like, your Bugs is phenomenal. Here's a kid that was in Toronto working the elevator up the Sky Tower, telling us a story about Joan Rivers, and now LeBron James is going, dude, you're Bugs Bunny. Like, how cool is that? So we're lucky. We're blessed, man. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Well, I think you have blessed us with this last hour. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank you, everybody.
This has been awesome.
Thank you for supporting voice-over actors. Supporting.
So please visit him at his table today, tomorrow. Don't follow him home. That gets you on a list, so don't do that. But
yes. Thank you, everybody.
Again, big round of applause for Carlos Alazraqui.
Hello, this is Carlos Alazraqui from
ROCKO'S Modern Life.
And you're watching Fandom Spotlite. Be sure to like and share.
And have fun and follow your fandom.